Welcome back, everyone, to the Complete Pineleaf. We are just beyond Utterby here, and I'm here with Durin as we head back towards the Lonely Mountain. And before we continue on our journey, I just remembered that we have a new tracery that we earned in that last quest. It's actually a Cyan one. So a tier 11 Cyan ambush a critical chance and damage multiplier. Ooh. Do I actually have that one? I would probably have put it on here if I do. It's not one I'm currently using. I'm gonna have to think about whether or not I want to use that one because it is a significant upgrade, so I probably will. Well, before I think about that, let's speak with Deerin.
A large party has taken this road westward. Easterlings?
Did you see? The Jaguars surrounding Utterby remain in disarray, like as not a result of our efforts there. But that's not what has drawn my attention, Pineleaf. A large party has taken this road westward. I spied dust on the horizon, kicking up from the road as they passed. Could it be that the Easterlings attempt another attack on the Lonely Mountain? Let us follow them and ensure that they do not. Alright, let's go and find this party. It doesn't look like that they're Jangavar. They're dwarves. Quite a number of dwarves. Jelruka by the look of them. Hello, sir.
I am Botus Frostblood, leader of this Jelruka band.
I presume that you're with these Longbeards, Hobbit? Yes, I hope that you have answers for me, for my patience is nearly spent. It has been days since my axe was drawn blood, and she is thirsty. Tell me, what transpires in Erebor, and tell me quickly. You came from the east and not from the west? Bah! We have been waiting here for our messenger to return. A dwarf of good speed and loyal temperament, but he is hours overdue. He was to speak with the king under the mountain and obtain permission for us to cross the Dale lands on our way to the Grey Mountains. Why has he not returned? Why has he not sent word? I smell treachery, Hobbit. Has the King Thorin imprisoned him? This insult cannot stand. Well, it could be is intercepted by Jangavar. We will wait for a little while longer, but my Jelruka will not wait long. We sent word to the king as a matter of courtesy, but I began to question whether such a courtesy was deserved. No one, not even a king, can get away with insulting Botu's Frostblood. Perhaps I and my Jelruka will force our way through the Dale lands to our promised land along the Grey Mountains and spit upon Thorin's permission. Maybe you could try asking permission of the folk in Dale instead, because it is their land, right? Uh, what do you say, Deerin? These Jelruka are getting impatient, and I fear that might happen if we seek to force their way across the Dale lands. If it comes to violence, I will remain with Althea Pineleaf, and we will do our best to calm them. You hurry to the Lonely Mountain and tell my father that Botus Frostblood and his band are growing tired and waiting. Perhaps the king has a good reason for keeping the Jelruka messenger from returning. Go, go with haste. I fear the Jelruka will not wait much longer, and the situation here will get worse if it is not resolved quickly. All right, very well. On to King Thorin. Hello, sir.
Where is Durin? Did I not send you to bring my son back from Yarnfast?
How can it be that you have not fulfilled my request, Pineleaf? What? He came with you as far as the edge of the Dale Lands, but he stopped to treat with a band of Joruka? I have heard of nothing of this, Pineleaf. Explain your business. Hmm. These dwarves are liars, Pineleaf. I have seen no messenger, and even if I had, I would not listen to any request of his. I am not convinced the Joruka have a claim to the land of the Grey Mountains, and at any rate, I have no obligation to allow them to pass by the foot of the lonely mountain. Let them go around, if they must, and take the long road that passes well north of here. They shall not pass through my lands and trouble the folk of Dale. I will dispatch some warriors to reinforce my son, and they will ensure that the Joruka stay put, Pineleaf. Go find Gandalf at his chambers in the dwelling halls. Perhaps the threat of wizard magic will encourage these Joruka to remain peaceable. Oh, this is escalating fast. You don't want me to investigate what may have happened to that messenger? Because I'm sure they sent a messenger and he was waylaid or something like. No, he wants me to start a war. I suspect that Gandalf is going to think this whole thing is as preposterous as I do, but he might have some curiosity about the book. Hello.
What is this you bring to me?
He takes the black book, warily eyeing the sigil on its cover. Yes, some of these pages contain words written in the black speech, but there are also dwarf runes in several varieties, and many blank pages. I suspect the gaps are not truly empty, but contain words written in the hidden fashion used by dwarves to keep secrets. Most interesting. This book clearly has its origins in Mordor, but the Mordor of 1,000 years ago is not the same as it is today. Truly, even in a month's time, Mordor has greatly changed. Yes, I know about that. I will study this book with interest, but I see from your expression that more than one purpose has drawn you hither. Yes, about a little foolishness, I guess you'll call it.
The relationship of the Jelruka and the Longbeards has long been tumultuous.
Yes, the relationship has changed from peace to outright war and then to uneasy truce. The passage of the years and waning of memory finally caused friendship to once again emerge between them, and now this happens to be cast that renewal into doubt. With the devastation that heralded the end of the First Age, much of Middle-earth was shaken and sundered. In the land to the east, the stronghold of the Joruka was destroyed, and they became a wandering people. Their neighborhoods turned them aside and wished them ill. But King Durin II of Khazad-dûm took pity upon them and bade his folk make their home for the displaced people of Mount Gundabad. They disappeared in the mountains and never arrived, but a single survivor emerged centuries later. He spoke of the vanished Joruka and the Far Gothal. A citadel, he claimed, was delved into the mountain. He insisted, too, that its riches could match those of mighty Khazad-dûm. Mad raving, surely. None of the many who seek it over the years, Longbeards and Joruka alike, have ever found it. I don't believe it ever existed. Well, yes, there is that little thing. Dwarves from Khazad-dûm did uncover the remains of an ancient delving in the Grey Mountains, and although they found a great deal of iron ore, they found no mithril. This could not be the Far Gothal. They called it the Far Gundul, the Steel Keep, and soon their iron production threatened to rival that of the Iron Hills. Scholars whisper that this threat to the prosperity caused the dwarves of Yarnfast to send word of the Steel Keep to the Joruka, who demanded it be theirs by right. If the dwarves of the Iron Hills did take part, and this has not been proven, but it seems likely to me. Ever since the Jaruka have jealously guarded their claim on the holding in the Grey Mountains, and that resentment has colored their dealings with all other people. If Botus Frostblood and others of the Jaruka believe their property is being kept from them, they will not hesitate to spill blood to regain it. I will not involve myself in this matter. Return to King Thorin and warn him not to trifle with the Jaruka. They will become a dangerous foe if they feel they are being treated unfairly, and the dwarves of the Lonely Mountain need more friends, not new enemies. Well, that actually sort of makes sense. By making sense, I mean the bit about the Longbeards needing more friends, not enemies. And what is Gem Cutter doing here? This is getting curiouser and curiouser.
Alfie Gemcutter has come from the edge of the Dale Lands with urgent news.
He says that Botus Frostblood and his band of Jaruka forced their way into the Dale Lands against my wishes and have marched for the Grey Mountains. At first, my son Durin barred their way, but he refused to spill dwarf blood and allowed them to pass. I see he followed them, intending to watch them and prevent the Jaruka from doing any harm to the people of Dale or the lands around the Lonely Mountain. He sent Alfie back to bring me word of their movements. This is an outrage, Pineleaf. These Jaruka have proven themselves to be impolite and no friend to me or to my people. I'm insulted and demand satisfaction. I don't say that my son should have stood alone against a dozen of these traitors, but I wish the Jaruka had been made to pay for the slight in some fashion. Had they waited for my warriors to arrive, they would not have dared to cross, or they would have paid a good sum of blood in the pain. They are brazen enough to disregard my commands, but too cowardly to engage them in outright battle. Go to the Grey Mountains and tell my son to return. These Jaruka will pay for this outrage, but it will not be for Durin to exact the price. He belongs here with me, and will learn the responsibilities of kingship at my feet. Why is he absolutely not interested in finding out what happened to the messenger? Ah, here's Durin. Finally. What do you say about the Grey Mountains? Didn't I just start this chapter by picking up a book and went to deliver to a wizard, and now I'm at the edge of arid Mithrin?
Did my father send you to bring me back to the Lonely Mountain?
Botus Frostblood and his band of Jaruka have gone on ahead, but now that I behold this place with my own eyes, I see some of what has driven them to come here, against my father's command. Do you see it too? The vast mountains, the untouched valleys, the hidden recesses beneath them, each holds the promise of adventure. My father's throne room is no place for me. I should not waste my years there in study and in idleness as he did. No, I belong here in the unexplored wilderness. I should seek its lost treasures, just as my people have done for thousands of years. Only then will I find the glory that is to be mine. Under Nine, only Uncle Nine would understand, even if my father does not. I am going not back after I have proven that I am worthy of my name, Pineleaf. Remember our deeds in the Ironfold? You were a good companion and a reliable friend to me. I ask that you to adventure with me here, and together we will achieve great things. Great things.
There will be adventures enough for both of us, I am certain of that.
Yes, I will not look back fondly upon the time I spent in Yarnfast, kept from honor and glory, but something at least came from my captivity of my youth. Many were the tales I heard, and many were the maps that I studied, And now that we are here amongst the grey mountains, I will see these subjects with my own eyes, and therefore make them real. There should be a narrow passage to the northwest of here, the Worm Gap, bored through the very stones by the dragon kind that came down from the north. Let us see if any of their kin still inhabit the gap, and bring battle to them if they do. I would like to pass through the Worm Gap to the withered heath beyond and see the great anvil for myself. Many tales tell of the anvil, and dreams of it have fired my imagination since I was small. Alright, that's about, I suppose, that will be what I choose when I get to that point. But for now, it's time for us to look into an inhospitable land. I think I'm going to save heading out into the Worm Gap for the next episode. But I do still have the question about this ambush and critical chance multiplier. And I think that the one I need the least is heal bonus for conviction, because I don't use conviction all that much on this character because conviction is a group heal, and when you're in those solo series, I think I'll just plop that into there and that'll take care of what I have in there. So now that's my, I think that's, is that my first cyan one for this particular level? Right, because this one is, yeah, that one's only yellow. So it's a start. It's a start. It looks like these Yoruka have a few bounties out. Keen Claw. What's Keen Claw? The bounty notifies as written by a shaky hand, as if the author feared he might be interrupted. It reads, "The air is thin up here. They all said it. You might be able to see further than in the lowlands, but the thin air makes it harder to hear the sounds from far away, especially with the wind whistling among the rocks the way it does. I didn't hear the hawks until it was nearly too late. They flew down from the heights, clawing and scratching, trying to get to my eyes. My hands are covered with scratches, but at last I kept my eyes away for now. Cursed birds! I will give a reward to any who slays the grey hawks of Ered Mithrin, especially the largest and foulest of them. Keen Claw I have named him. He will never have my eyes, no matter how much he desires to dine upon them." Oh, that just sounds so gruesome. Alright, what about this bounty? Gristlfell. Good grief. "Who among you has not known the fear of a bear's call in the woods? It is the warning sign to keep away, a distant threat. But it is different here in Ered Mithrin. Here the lath bears will give you little notice of his ire. Before you know you're hunted, it is upon you, its red eyes full of hate and sharp teeth slavering. Of all the lost bears in the prowl in the mountains, none is more dangerous than the one named Gristlfell. A reward to any who can bring him down, along with others of his sloths. So therefore, 10 of these plus Gristlfell. And Holcorm. And what is Holcorm? The bounty notice is written in a flowery script. Its author must have taken a while to set down this message. It reads, "We Yoruka prize our claim to these mountains, but the rocky cliffs are home to other less noble denizens. The Mithrin worms claim them as well, and do not willingly surrender their hold. Strike them down, and show that we are as ever to be feared. But I urge you caution in one respect. Worms of a reddish coppery hue will be put up a fight, but can be bested. But if you see a worm with ice blue scales, you may have found Holcorm, most ferocious than those others. He may be a worm of a different brood. I cannot say for certain. I offer a reward to any who can rid these mountains of Hokorm and thin the ranks of the Mithrin worms that threaten our expedition. Well, I am sure going to Worm Gap is going to bring me spear to mouth against that fearsome horde. So with these bounties and with a call from Durham, we will prepare next time to head into Worm Gap in the complete Pineleaf.